Hi, beautiful. How are you today? I'm Tisha Dolby, and welcome to Power, Passion, and Purpose, where every woman has the opportunity to discover your powers, your passions, and God's purpose for your life. We will be diving into healing, growing, and maturing and becoming all that God has for you to be. Tune in every week on Sundays at noon on the Boss Up Houston Network. I'll see you on the inside. Have a great day. Hi, beautiful. How are you guys doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Tisha Dolby. How are you today? I'm so happy to be in the room with you guys. You know, I just want y'all to come in. I'm going to give a few minutes for some of y'all to join me as we get started and get ready for our first episode. I just want to welcome you on this new month of August. And what a great day it is because it's also my birthday. So happy birthday to me. What are you guys up to today? I hope you're having an amazing day no matter where you are. I hope you are giving praise and honor to God and those that you love. When my kids were growing up, I used to tell them Sundays were days to regroup. It was relaxation day. So I just hope and I send that out to you guys that y'all relax, recoup, and prepare mentally, emotionally, and physically for your upcoming week. With that being said, I just want to take this time and say welcome to Power, Passion, and Purpose. We will be diving into some very deep conversations from week to week. I will be giving my personal perspective as well as my testimony and those things that got me through and got me to where I am today and sitting before you guys. And hopefully, this will be encouraging, empowering, and impactful in your life. Today's topic, we are going to be diving into love. And more than likely, as I was preparing for this topic, I was like, this is not a one and done. So we will revisit this topic again, probably a few times. And I'll probably bring some guests in and get their perspective on it as well, because it seems like we use this word and really don't understand the magnitude of the word. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a few definitions of what love is based off of the Webster Dictionary. It says that love is strong affection for another arising from kinship or personal ties, attraction based sexual desire, adoration, benevolence, warm attachment, a beloved person, concern. But we use this term so lightly. We use it and say, I love my food, I love my dog, I love my friend, I love my flowers, I love everything. But it's like, if you really dissect that word, and love is an action. It's beyond the words. There's an emotion attached to it. So if you would take it to the biblical side of things, there are four main words that are used in the Bible to represent love. And most people know agape, or they've heard agape, which is the highest form of love. It's the love that you should be striving for because it's a love that's unconditional. But honestly, you can't show that love without having relationship and understanding, because it doesn't come with expectations. It doesn't come with any of those things. So when we're talking about, oh, I love my brother, there's a whole nother term that the Bible uses for that, and it's phileo. So I know almost anybody that will watch this or be a part of this or see this later on knows and heard of Philadelphia. That's where their name is derived from. That's why it's called the city of brotherly love, because it's meaning. So the next one we're going to talk about is Eros. And we know that one as well because it's considered erotic. So fantasy, sexual. So it just makes me feel some type of way that when we're in public and we say, I love you, we don't really define what love is. We don't show what love is. So there's the last one, which is our relative, our blood, our genealogical love, which is Stakeo. And I love that the Bible breaks it down. Here I go using the word love. But it breaks it down and gives you context to the English word. So we use the English word love and we use it across the board. So it's like, do you love? Do you like? Do you care for? Are you judging? What is the meaning behind this love? And I had a false sense of what love was growing up, as many of us do. Because, like I said, it's something that you feel. It's something that you see. So when you add in trauma, when you add in abuse, when you add in all these other feelings, it kind of skews your perception of what love is supposed to look like and what love is supposed to feel like. So that is what we're going to be diving into. I don't know. I have my phone out, guys. So anytime that you have any questions or anything like that, just drop them in and I'll make sure that I respond to you as we go along, because it's hard to love if you don't know what love is. It's hard to give love, genuine love, if you don't know what it is. If you don't understand the magnitude or the definition, somebody's coming to you and they love you as a brother, but you love them with Eros love. Or you see this person and you interact with them and you have a friendship love, phileo. So what does that really mean? And of course, you're not going to go walking around saying, I phileo you, I eros you. You still use the English term and the English definition of what love is, but in your heart and in your mind, you have to let people know. You have to let them see. You have to let them feel. If you say, I love you like a brother, then it shouldn't feel like eros. If you say, I love you like Eros, it shouldn't be like phileo. And we're going to dive a little bit more into that. But I just want to welcome you once again. I'm going to take a brief commercial now that we have the definitions out. And we're going to come back and talk about each one a little bit deeper. And I'm going to give a personal testimony when we return from our break.
Oh my God! I just got through watching a great show on Boss Up Houston Network. Have you heard? They're bossing up, okay? And I heard they're looking for you. Any podcasters, talk show hosts, if you're a writer or producer, we definitely need you. Come aboard and boss up.
Are you a small business owner that is struggling to promote your company?
Our topic today is, what's your status?
Shoot the dice at this point.
You just shoot the dice. Roll the dice.
So,
Yes.
Hey, how y'all doing? It's attorneys. Victoria Blanco.
I love it.
Imagine being televised on a national platform. How about being a host or sponsor on a syndicated podcast? Or being featured on exclusive promotions and interview for your product to your ideal customer? Hi, I'm Kayla Sneed, and I'm head of sales with Boss Up Houston. And here at Boss Up, we like to help small business owners and entrepreneurs advertise, promote, or become a sponsor for one of our television, podcast, or radio shows. All you have to do is click the link down below to see if you qualify. I'll be seeing you soon.
This is Boss Up Houston, where we look up, stay up, and boss up. Stay up, boss up. Boss up, Houston, where we look up, stay up.
Welcome back, guys. I hope you enjoyed the commercial break. And it gave you a moment to process some of the words that I gave you. It may be new to some, more definition and breaking down and revelation to others. That, or, and also that starting that process of thinking about the things that we come out our mouth, the way that we interact with each other, the way we want to be perceived and received. How do we want people to respond to us as well as our response to others? This is a very big topic for me. This is what I lead from in my everyday life. Because it's personal. Everything I do is intentional and personal. You can ask my clients. I tell them all the time. I'm very intentional about my space, my time, my boundaries, and what I put out because I know what I want to receive in. But I didn't get here overnight. And I'm about to share some things with you guys that I'm very transparent. I'm very open. Nothing's never off the table for me in conversation. And I feel like if I made it through it, then I can use it to help somebody else. It's now a tool in my toolbox because I have learned, I have grown, I have matured, I have healed with each and every situation, no matter whether it was bad, good, ugly, whether I was happy, whether I was broken. So, what I'm about to throw out to you guys right now is just some words that are really common in society right now: brokenness, trauma, abuse, neglect, abandonment, worthlessness, hopelessness, loss, confusion, hurt, overweight, health ailments, bad relationships, loss of jobs, confusion, cursing, fighting, addiction, alcoholism, and the list goes on. And a lot of these are tied to one of the words that I use, a couple of the words I use in here, which is brokenness and trauma. And a lot of brokenness and trauma, it's going to be different. It's going to be different from one person to the next. That's where empathy comes in because I can empathize and I can sympathize with somebody. It may not be my story, but because I felt broken, I know what it feels like to be broken. And at the very core of that, a lot of the times, is love. It really is love. It's the fact that if you're looking for love in the wrong places, you have a misconception of what love looks like, what it is, what it's supposed to be. And because we have a perception of life, and I tell the people that I work with all the time, the women, the men, my children, my bonus children, I explain to them every day you encounter a time, a place, a scenario, a situation, you have expectations. And sometimes we have expectations of people who are not equipped to give it to us. We expect for somebody to be us. We expect to be loved the way that we want to be loved, but we haven't clearly articulated. We haven't shown that. But then go to the bottom. Got to remove all the onion layers. Get to the core of that thing. And a lot of the times, our perception is off. We don't even know how to love ourselves. We haven't sent and spent that time to know ourselves. And the reason I can speak so clean and clear on this is the simple fact that I shouldn't be sitting here today. My life was not set up for me to be here today before you guys doing what I do today. Now, it's a process. It's always will be a process. I will never sit here and tell y'all it's a one and done thing because it takes work. My healing journey began 20, almost 30 years ago. Almost 30 years ago, that I really made it a priority to heal and to be better and to do something different and do something better because I was so broken. I was so lost. I was so confused. And I did not see, I couldn't breathe. I was just walking through life existing. I was doing everything. I was going to work, had my own place, in a relationship, all of that. But I was just there. I was just there. I have survived child abuse, domestic violence, sexual assault, and loss of a child. So when I talk about love, and I was asked probably 2, 3 years ago from a really good friend of mine, she said, "What do you want to be known for?" And I said, "Love." And I didn't elaborate. I did not elaborate until later on. And at first, she didn't understand. But right before I left her, she came to me and was like, and I didn't leave her in the essence of I left the state. So when I was preparing to move here to Houston, she came to me and she said, "I get it. I understand exactly what you were saying." She said, "I get it, and it radiates from you." And to hear that feedback after everything I was told I was not going to be, and I was told I was not going to get, and had to figure out in life, that just put air in my body all over again. The short story I want to share with you guys is that switch, because I was walking through life numb. I was walking through life where I didn't know heads from tails because people were using words to hurt me. People were using actions to hurt me. So love looked like pain. So it became a part of my daily life. It became normal. And this is what I mean about breaking cycles. Because at the time of my switch, as I shared with y'all, today's my birthday and I can sit here and smile. I can enjoy my birthday today. But 27 years ago was not my story. Fresh out of child abuse, fresh out of sexual assault, in my first domestic violence relationship, I had my birthday. I had my birthday. That week, I found out I was pregnant with my second child. August 13th of 1995, my baby passed away. And I share that story not because I want anybody to feel bad, not because I want anybody to have any guilt, but I want to be transparent with you guys at all costs, all the time. If I can do it, you can do it. Whatever life throws at you, you can heal. You can grow through it. I have a saying. It didn't happen to me. It happened for me. And I say that because of my faith and my relationship with the Lord is the only thing that kept me. It's the only thing that kept me during that time because in my mind, my perception of what was going on was, God, how did you let me stay here? Why did you keep me in all these scenarios to take my baby? The only thing that loved me unconditionally, the only thing that didn't harm me, the only thing that didn't do didn't mistreat me, didn't neglect me. She wanted me. She needed me. She loved me. But had I not lost her, I wouldn't be sitting before y'all today because I was spiraling out of control. I was lost. And I had a relationship with the Lord. I had faith. But because of the brokenness and because of everything that was done to me, I couldn't even see God. I never really turned my back on him because I still read my Bible. I still prayed. I still did praise and worship. But I didn't feel like it was enough. And I was begging my daddy. I call God my daddy, y'all. I was begging my daddy to take me. I really was. I was like, I don't want to be here no more. But because he knew how I felt about babies, about children in general, my babies didn't ask to be here. In spite of anything that I was enduring, anything that I was going through, it was my responsibility to honor them, the gift that they were. Not the circumstances that they came about, but the gift that they was. So I had to stay healthy enough to make sure that baby made it to this world. And we're going to fast forward through the healing process and me spending time. God's covering kept me because he made sure I was aware. He made sure his protection, he kept me in the lowest. Like he always tells us, he never leaves us nor forsakes us. Now, 27 years later, I can see the protection. But in the midst of it, I didn't. But because I had a relationship with him, I had enough strength to keep praying, enough strength to keep crying out, enough strength to keep going until it got better. Until my son was healthy. I have 3 surviving children after her. And it doesn't take away from my loss. But I can look at that in a different light. I can look at it how God used his love for me. He loved me, and he don't just love me, he loves you. He loved us so much that he chases us even when we're in darkness. He covers us. He protects us. He keeps us when we don't want to be kept, if we allow him to. It's always a choice. So it was like that light bulb went off. That switch was switched for me when I lost my daughter. I didn't know how. I didn't know how to break the cycles. I didn't know how to stop the abuse. I didn't know how to stop the unlove. I didn't know how to do any of that. But I knew it had to change. And I made a choice that day that through it all, my children was not going to live the way that I lived. My children was not going to endure what I endured. My children were going to have a better life than what I had. And to cap that off, I'm just going to say, we survived. My children are 20, 21, and 25. None of them have children. I will have a senior in college in about 5 days. And my baby girl that made it to Paris and back. And my son is living out his dream. He's starting his business. He's an entrepreneur. My youngest is an entrepreneur, and my middle daughter is excelling in school. So my win may not look like society's win. My love has got me through. And we're going to talk more about that in depth of the tangible tools that I use to help me heal, that I used then and I still use today. But before we go into some tips and tools, I'm going to take another commercial break, let you guys process that story a little bit and just feel it and see how you outside of you. It's bigger than you. It's more than you. You have breath in your body, which means there's still work to be done. You have a purpose to fulfill. So I'll talk to you in a few minutes after we take this next break.
There are 3 ways to stop limiting God and yourself. Change your thoughts, change your beliefs, and change your actions. I'm inviting you here on Take the Limits Off Friday evenings at 8 p.m. right here on Boss Up Houston Network. We serve an unlimited God. Don't you think it's time we take the limits off?
Hi, my name is Tanae, and I'm the owner of the Announcement Beauty Bar. Hi, welcome to the Announcement Beauty Bar. Essence, come on, follow me. Here at the Announcement Beauty Bar, we offer micro shading, eyelash extensions, and brow waxing. Please join us August 14th, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. for our grand opening, located at 9950 West Park Drive. Make sure you stop by to get brows that wow.
Maridate, Houston's first private social club for couples.
This is Jay Williams, and I am representing myself and my husband Christopher as the real couple for Maridate. We are super excited about this opportunity. But just to give you a little quick review of how we actually met. Chris and I met in 2001 as colleagues while working at a major insurance company here in Houston. 2 years later, we started dating because we met again at a club. Actually, it was just a party. It wasn't actually a club. Anyway, I felt hard for him and he felt hard for me. Whenever he would call, I would say, my husband's calling. So I feel like I manifested our relationship and I have no regrets of that. Christopher and I got married in 2006. We've had a bumpy road. It has not been all juices and berries, but it has been worth it. The love we have for each other is real and it's strong, and it is faith-based. And so we have been married for 15 years now. We have 2 adult children and 1 amazing grandson.
Join Maridate today by visiting www.maridate.com.
Hello. How are you guys feeling? I know my testimony is real. I really enjoy you guys. I hope you continue to stay with me during this journey. My new client mentioned something on his post that he posted on social media. And you hear me say his, because although my niche is women, I do work with men. And he was like, "You give the self healing gospel." And I was like, "Hey, I like that. I'm going to use that because that's what it is." Because I did not have any elders. I didn't have any older siblings. I didn't have any grandparents or aunties and uncles to come in and help me figure this thing out. It was truly me and the Lord and what I'm about to talk about next. I told you guys when we come back that I was going to tell y'all some tangible solutions because that thing, it if you can have all the tools, you can have all the books, you can have all the self-help guides in the world, and you will have information overload. You will have sensory overload from all the data that you took in, and you still be stuck. You still be sitting in that place where you cannot move because you don't even know where to start with. And it's very minute. It's very minute how we just take one step at a time. I share because some of my people that I work with are recovering addicts or recovering alcohol, have this, have that. And because I am a product, I never was addicted to anything, but I am a product of addiction. I have alcoholism on both sides. I have drug addiction on both sides. And to be honest, my father is not here with me today. My uncle is not here with me today as a result of their struggles and their battles with addiction. And I know going through that process with them, they used to say one day at a time. And it was deeper than that for me, y'all. It was deeper. Because anytime you endure the trauma and the abuse that I did for the length of time that I did, one day is sensory overload. That I had to get down where it was, I want to live one moment at a time, 1 minute at a time, 5 minutes at a time. It was that serious for me. And that's why when I pick up new clients, and that's why when I come into a room to speak, that's why when I facilitate, I tell everybody it's personal. It has to be as simple as breathing. You have to want healing as much as you want to breathe, or it's going to be a temporary fix, and you're going to go from one extreme to the next extreme. And it's that simple. I got you. I will walk this thing out with you for as long as it takes, but it has to be as important to you as it is to me. I do the work. I've done the work, and I continue to stay committed to staying healthy, to keep my peace, to keep my joy, to keep my happiness. I tell people all the time, I protect my peace at all costs. I protect my peace at all costs. I'm not going to stop being me. I'm not going to stop being loving. I'm not going to stop being that caregiver. I'm not going to stop sharing the fruit of the Spirit. I'm not going to stop doing, because I am God's hands. I am His feet. I am His mouthpiece. I am, and I stand by that. That's my core. That's who I am. But just like with Him, you have a part to play. There's nothing I can do I can give you all of my whole arsenal. But if you don't implement it, then you're going to be right back where you was. It's going to be a temporary fix. It's just like putting a Band-Aid on a gashing wound that needs stitches. It's going to eventually bleed through. It's going to bust open. So one of the things, Where it began. Where it began. Very simple. I choose me, and everything else comes second. I choose me, and everything else comes second. And we're going to take that and break it down a little bit. Because to society, to people who don't understand, they will hear that and say, you're selfish, you're self-centered, you're this. Here we go. Judgment, condemnation. Here we go. But when you say that, what in hindsight, what you are honestly telling people is, I choose healing. I choose growth. I choose maturity. I choose to become who God wants me to be. I choose to be the best man or woman that I am designed to be. I choose to walk in the fullness of the freedom that Jesus died for. And honor and grow and mature and allow God to make those crooked paths straight so I can get to where I'm supposed to be. Because somebody spoke death over me, because somebody mistreated me, somebody abused me, what made me feel less than what I was supposed to be. And until you remove that off of you and understand who you are, you won't know how to love yourself. So if you don't know how to love yourself, you won't know how to love your neighbor, let alone know how to love God. He says that's the greatest command. The greatest commission is to love him with all your heart, all your mind, all your body, all your soul, all of you. The second, to love your neighbor as yourself. And one of the things that I was sharing with my client was, when you walk in strife, when you walk in chaos, when you walk in discord, when you walk in abuse, when you walk in addiction, when you walk in all of these things, you are loving your neighbor as yourself, because they're just a direct reflection of you. You're only getting what is in you. I tell them all the time, whatever is in you is going to come out of you. So until you sit down and actually do the healing work, until you sit down and talk to somebody about those hurts and pains and process them and see how they strengthen you, how those can be stepping stones of faith, that God's protection got you through, you will never be able to walk in the fullness of your freedom. You'll be wearing a mask. Time doesn't stop. We're only here for a little bit of time. I want everything that I got coming to me, because I'm an heir, and so are you. I want to fulfill my purpose. I don't want my life's work to be left undone with the woulda, shoulda, couldas. So, number one, I chose me. I chose me, which meant I chose life. I chose life. So, I want y'all to remember that as y'all move forward. And y'all think about choosing you. What does that really look like? And what I called it was my personal sanctuary. You can call it what you want, your piece of paradise, my little nook, your happy place. You have to use terms that work for you. For me, sanctuary hit home because me having a relationship and me being a believer, having a relationship with the Lord, church was always sanctuary. It was a safe place. So I wanted to create my own safe place, because people, places, and things always were triggers for me. So I had to learn how to build a sanctuary in a world of chaos, in a world of confusion, in a world of brokenness, in a world of hate, in a world of condemnation, in a world of judgment. And I stand by that. So the same sanctuary I built when my children were little are the same the values that I live by today. I speak life. I choose to. That's part of my sanctuary. No matter what's going on around me, no matter what the situation is, I have to find something to be grateful for, to be happy for, to have peace with, to have joy with. So that's my number one automatic in building that sanctuary. Number two, you hear me say it earlier, I protect my peace. I protect my peace by not allowing certain things in. At a point in time in my walk, I had to learn how to tell people, I don't receive that. Yes, that's your opinion. I hear you. But if it's not edifying me, if it's not encouraging me, if it's not helping me, I don't need nothing else that's going to tear me down. I don't need nobody who's not willing to support. So you have every right to say it. You have every right to feel it. You have every right to think it. But I also have a choice too. I don't have to receive it. And another part of that sanctuary was protection of my family. I was not protected as a child. I was not protected as a teen. I was not protected as a young adult. So I made it my priority to protect my children at all costs. And if that cost me friendships, so what? If that cost me relationships with family, so what? If that cost me relationships with men, so what? I stood by that. When you came in my house, there were rules and regulations. You weren't allowed to cuss in my house. You had to pull your pants up in my house. No smoking in my house. You had to listen where you had to go. You don't have to come. You're going to honor my kids. My kids have a voice. My kids grew up in a house where they had a voice. Just because they're little people don't mean they don't have feelings, emotions, and a mindset. We have to honor them. God uses anything and everything he wants. He used my children to help me heal. And I'll never dishonor them because they're his before they were mine. And I mean that. And I'll stand on that. Like I said, we go deep. We're going to continue to go deep. And lastly, remaining consistent. Remaining consistent because in my house, I love the Lord. So my time with the Lord is important to me. Me being present with my children is important to me. My yeses are yeses and my nos are nos. I honor everybody, their time, their energy. I have learned how to see God in everything and everybody. We're going to talk about that later on in future subjects because that's a tough one to tackle. Because when people mean you harm and you still got to love them with the agape love of God, people don't teach that. People don't teach that. So those are key factors of the things that I did to build my sanctuary. It helps balance the trauma. It helps balance the brokenness. It helps me show up in the world and be able to love, because love covers a multitude of sins. Love is what's going to help people get the healing they need because they need a safe space. And I've learned how to be that safe space for some people who really are trying to walk that out. So that is how I built my sanctuary. Let's see where we at on time. We're still doing pretty good. We got about a minute and then we got to go to our last commercial break. And I just, going to be, when we come back from our commercial break, I'm going to talk to you guys more about, some of my self-care practices and some key scriptures that I used to stand on when I'm walking this healing journey out. And hopefully you'll find some solace and conversation and comfort in them as I did. When you see who you are in God, it allows you to see and receive and accept those who are working the same journey, different path, same journey. I love you guys. I'm going to go to commercial and then we're going to come back and do our last little segment before we wrap up. Thank you. See you in a few minutes.
Maridate, Houston's first private social club for couples.
We are the Adolphs.
Willie and Tequila.
We are blessed and honored to be asked to be a host couple for Maridate.
We have been a part of each other's lives for so many years.
We partied hard and worked harder.
We have 4 adult children and 2 fur babies.
We are entrepreneurs and we work together for over 20 years.
We have been married since 1999 through thick and thin, sickness and health, through troubles and triumphs, struggles and all victories. But God.
We built it up.
We built it up.
We built it up. And now we're solid. Solid as a rock. We are the Adolphs.
Join Maridate today by visiting www.maridate.com.
Want to be a boss? You're watching Boss Up Houston Network. It's Boss Up Houston, where we look up, stay up, and boss up.
Welcome back, guys. How did you enjoy today's topic? I hope you got some insight, a little bit more understanding, and some revelation. Like I said, I'm a big component on the words that we speak and speak in life. Love is dear to me because it seems like that very thing that I spent my whole childhood searching for is the very thing that I became. And it's ironic to me because there's so many areas that we can go into that I can talk about that where I was that person for people who were supposed to be there for me. And that's why I said you really have to understand what love is. And the whole time I was looking for it externally, I had it. I had it and I was given it and didn't even understand that I was being what I needed. And that's one of the topics we're going to talk about in the future too, is becoming something that you've never seen. That's one of my favorites topics to talk about, is because it ties all of this in. Because we go through life, even people who had a healthy childhood have trauma. Because they get to college or they get to high school and they have this awakening of My parents was great, but I don't want this. And then they don't know how to process that. So then they go through this self love journey of who am I? Who are you? You know, when you see a child that likes to dance, you automatically throw them in dance class. Oh, he can catch a ball. Let's put him in basketball or football. And honestly, we're trying to love our children. We're trying to help them. But genuinely, did that child get a voice? Did you ask them? Is that what they wanted to do? Because sometimes we inadvertently put expectations on our friends and family out of love. Hello, let's not forget the topic for today. And don't even realize that we could be setting them up for failure. We could be setting them up to fall short. We could be setting them up to have this unhealthy mindset because they start wearing things that they're not supposed to wear because they're trying to please everybody else instead of walking in the freedom of who they are and us embracing them and loving them with the agape love of God no matter what. No matter the life's journey, no matter the path that it took them, whether they went to school, they didn't go to school, they became an alcoholic, got clean, didn't get clean, they're still a child of God. And He loved them so much that He put you in their life to be a light, to help them. And if you're not going to help, then you need to just go ahead and get out the way and let somebody else help. Don't judge them. Don't box them in. Don't keep them tied to bondage, tied to confusion, tied to lack, tied to your perception of who they are supposed to be. So, to wrap up today's topic, I told you I was going to give you some key scriptures that I use. And I'm not going to read the scriptures. I'm just going to give you the scriptures, and you can read them in your own personal time and devotional time. And you can always reach out to me, and we can have a discussion about why I use these. And we might talk about scripture one day. We might just have a whole topic on scripture and how it helped me through the process. But I have a ton of them. But I'm going to just give you the top 5 that I use for topic of love. And that's 1 Corinthians 13, verse 4 through 7. 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 7. Psalm 23, verses 1 through 6. Psalms 23 is partial to me because that was my life scripture. Was always been my scripture, always will be my scripture, with a plethora of other ones. But that's the main scripture that I used my whole life. Psalms 139, verses 1 through 24. 1 John 4, 7 through 8. And Romans 8:38 through 39. I'll say that again. Romans 8:38 through 39. And, that would be part 1, I'll say, of love. We're not going to visit it right away. We're going to go through some other new topics, and then we'll revisit love on a deeper scale. Because I feel like it's needed. Love is needed in society. We can't do life alone. We're not meant to do life alone. We're meant to be in communities. We're meant to help each other. We're meant to reach back. When it's in your grasp to do something, do it. People don't always have the capabilities or feel safe enough to reach, say, I need help. I need help. I'm lost. I'm confused. I got too much going on internally. I'm emotional and I don't know why. A lot of that's tied to trauma. It's tied to brokenness. It's tied to other people's expectations of them, and they really can't walk in the fullness and truth of who they are. So, our next topic next week, which I really, really hope you come back and join me for, is support. We're going to dive into this topic of support next week. And I really, really hope you guys are ready for this journey that we're going on. And any other announcements that I may have, we do have a telethon here coming up on I believe the 14th here at Boss Up Houston Network. I hope y'all join us for that as well. And I'm here, obviously, on Sundays. And please, please, please go to the network's website and find out all the other fabulous people who are part of this organization who come here and really pour into you guys their perspectives, their expertise, their thoughts, their process of lifing. And find a way to hear, receive, and accept the love that people really want. I can't speak for everybody. I'll speak for myself. I want you to become all that you are meant to be. I want us to take over this world because it breaks my heart. Every time I hear about a child or every time I hear about a domestic violence situation, every time I see something in the media. And, we ain't want to talk about the Olympics, okay? Mental health is real. Listen to your body. Do the healing work. Remove yourself if you have to. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay to leave some people out on the outside. That don't mean you don't love them. That does not mean that you don't accept them. What it means is for your safety and your well-being. You have to have your boundaries and you protect your peace at all costs. And with that, know that I love you, I care for you, and I'm here for you. Anytime that you need to reach out, please do. Please do. You do not have to do this alone. You don't have to have the answers. I am a living witness. I am a walking testimony of figuring it out. I love you guys with the agape love of God, and I'll see you next week. Have a blessed week. And I'm going to enjoy my birthday now. Hi, beautiful. How are you today? I'm Tisha Dolby, and welcome to Power, Passion, and Purpose, where every woman has the opportunity to discover your powers, your passions, and God's purpose for your life. We will be diving into healing, growing, and maturing, and becoming all that God has for you to be. Tune in every week on Sundays at noon on the Boss Up Houston Network. I'll see you on the inside. Have a great day.